How's it going out there, YouTube? Today, if you've ever had the pleasure of using an Ajani's Pridemate in your decks for Standard or even in Pioneer, you know the power of gaining life and making these things grow and punching our opponents in the face. Well, now, thanks to Foundations Jumpstart, we have the ability to have an Ajani's Pridemate in the command zone featuring Qala, who is an uncommon that gets a little out of control as the game goes on if they don't check it. So let's see what this thing can do for us in Brawl and see what kind of power we can come up with for this deck. And here's the deck that I have affectionately called Qala Crunch that I've been tooling around with on the arena here in the last week or so. For those that don't know exactly what Qala does, she has the one half where she is an Ajani's Pridemate where she'll get bigger with every amount of life we gain. But then she also has an attack trigger that will give +X+0 to all of our creatures equal to the number of counters that are on her. So the more counters she has, the bigger the rest of our creatures are going to be on the attack side. As for the rest of the deck, for the most part, I just want to point out some of the more, useful cards for the deck. The big thing is the giant pile of what I would call the Soul Sisters, which are named after the original card Soul Warden, which is in the deck. A creature enters battlefield, you gain life, whether it's on your side only or on both sides. Those cards are here. Daxos, Hinterland Sanctifier, Case of the Uneaten Feast, Ajani's Welcome, Guide of Souls. All these things are in here so that as we get creatures on the board, we're going to gain little bits of life, and every little bit of life gained, Qala is going to gain a counter. That also helps with other things like the original Ajani's Pridemate, Essence Channeler, Voice of the Blessed, and Exemplar of Light. All these are variants of an Ajani's Pridemate that are in the deck that grow with every little bit of life gain, and some of them have special effects like this Exemplar of Light, which gets whenever a counter is put on it, you go ahead and you draw a card. So it's just kind of a fun little variance there. One card I hovered over just a second ago, which also adds to the life gain triggers, is Authority of the Consuls. This card is not only life gain from whenever your opponents play a creature, it's also really freaking annoying for our opponents because then they can't block and they have to really play ahead of curve, anticipating when they're going to need to block, because if not, they're not going to have a blocker available and you're going to punch them in the face. And then the last couple of cards here I wanted to point out basically turn all of our stuff into Ajani's Pridemates, at least in some temporary sense. First up is the Nykthos Paragon. It's a 4/6 for 6 that says whenever you gain life, you put that many +1/+1 counters, but it only triggers once per turn. So luckily it is a you may, so you can kind of juggle it. So if you have a burst of life coming out of something, you can kind of go, okay, I'll play some stuff, ignore the little +1/+1/+1 counters, and then do the big hit. So if you have something like, say, Heliod's Intervention, and you want to, gain twice X life, and you have the Nykthos Paragon on board, you can turn that Heliod's Intervention into sort of a Craterhoof Light type card by dumping a bunch of mana into it, and all of a sudden your stuff gets, +10/+10 or something stupid, and run your opponents over. The other bit here is the Archangel of Thune. Now, this was just added with the Pioneer Master set, and this essentially reads all your creatures become Ajani's Pridemates. That's basically what it is. Every time you gain life, you put a counter on each creature you control. So this thing is just really freaking powerful, and it's a great addition to any of these life gain, grow big type decks. So that's the deck in a nutshell. Let's get into it, and we'll talk more about it after the gameplay. Phenax, God of Deception. We have us a mill deck on our hands with probably a bunch of walls, is my guess. All right, we'll give this a whirl, because we do have Fencing Ace that we can get like Luminarch Aspirant into the Fencing Ace into the Hopeful Eidolon, which is kind of nice. Oh, I had such great hopes, because in testing this deck, I was doing so well. And so far tonight, I have managed to basically lose my butt on Mana Screw, not drawing life gain cards to actually make the deck work, and then completely punting a game because I didn't plus up a Planeswalker. It's just not, it's not been my night. And that is probably putting it lightly. All right. Not going to attack into that. We'll let the fencing ace do its thing next turn. Oh, don't mill my lands. I really do not need a mana screw because they're milling me. Oh, they killed my fencing ace. God bless it. All right, fine. You want to be that way? We'll be that way. 4 mana does not do anything for me. Let's see if we can bestow this before they destroy it. Put the counter on it. It's a 4/4. We're going to start gaining some life. A 4/4 lifelinker makes me want to have like my big stuff. Oh. Well, that's a little schmexy. Let's get that going. Let's put another counter on the Pridemate, because then things get nice and smashy later. If they don't kill it, it's going to cause problems. Because +3/+0 or whatever is really going to wreck their day. Alright. So they just beat the board. But hey, I have a 1/1 lifelinker. I'm okay. And let's just go ahead and drop her back to the board. Because why not? She'll get bigger anyways. And we're at 39 life. I could have dropped Speaker of the Heavens and then started making angel tokens, but chances are good it's not going to live anyways. It's highly tempting to use that to just blow up all their stuff. Okay, we just went from highly tempting to highly probable. Though we do have a reprobation that I could deal with that with. I mean, that's a thing. Or do I just want to stop them from drawing cards? Yeah, I think I just want to have them stop drawing cards. So 2, dink, go away. Not a fan. So we'll drop this in. Swing, +1. She'll get a little bigger. Hope they don't have another board wipe. Okay, Shielder's gonna eat something. What's it gonna eat? It'll eat the Eidolon. And then I'm just gonna say, you're a coward. Go away. Oh, I feel like such an ass when I do that kind of thing. But you know what? I'm feeling pretty good about it right now because I'm kind of sick of the crap. Alright, so now we have some more life linking stuff going on. Okay, you're at 1 life. Let's see. Can I punch them in the face hard enough? Return target creature card from the battlefield. What did they mill that I can kill them with? Oh, wait a minute. Wasn't Erdnan in here? Yes, he was. Yes, he was. Let's not punt on this game. I punted my last game. I don't want to do it this time. Erdnan, thank you. You come in. Put the counter here. Yep. Ding, ding, ding. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. Okay, that makes me feel so much better. Let's freaking go. Tom Bombadil. Oh, boy. Oh, we got a Guide of Souls in the opening hand, which then we can actually flop into the Metastatic Evangel, which actually works really well with the Guide of Souls as we go down the line. That's why I stuck this one in the deck, because I was like, oh, we're casting a bunch of creatures, so we're just going to proliferate all this stuff. Well, there goes the Guide of Souls. Yep, that's a kick in the absolute junk. So we're gonna probably name Warrior, because I think I have several warriors that Cavern of Souls can keep them from countering if they were to play a counter spell of some sort. I'm gonna go ahead and play the Metastatic Evangel. Or Evangel, or however you want to pronounce it. Alright. Let's do Warrior. Go ahead and swing. We have Dawn's Truce and Lauren's Escape, so if they want to try to blast it with something, we have options. Not going to play Qala until I can actually protect her from whatever predations they have going on. It's like, did they honestly just run one random Thoughtseize in that deck just to screw with people? Because honestly, that burns my ass a little bit that they had a Thoughtseize on turn 1. Okay, we got an Ajani's Welcome. We're doing okay. So let's just go ahead and do that. We have the Dawn's Truce, so if they try to remove the Welcome, we can use the Truce to protect it, because this covers all of our permanents, not just creatures. Naturalist, okay. Shuffle any number of cards from your graveyard into your library. Okay. So they're just churning through fetches, essentially. Man, they are burning themselves. I've not actually been paying attention. They've actually been burning themselves into the ground with this. It's super weird. Like, why would you do that? So yeah, we're going to go ahead and drop Qala to the ground. I'm not going to swing with the Evangel, because they may actually block to gain life or whatever. But we still have Lauren's Escape to keep her alive if we need to. Because ideally we gain, like, we drop another little creature maybe, and then drop Feather of Flight on Qala, and then she swings for lethal. Ideally. Alright, they got Satuki. They put the Thoughtseize back into their deck with the Bath Song. There's Tom Bombadil, which I really don't care at this point. Yeah, it seems like they only shuffled like maybe one or two things back into their deck. Alright, we did not get the creature I wanted, so... Do I just gain the life? No, we do this. Because then we might actually draw like a 1 or a 2 drop, and then we're in safe position. Because I still have the mana available for Lauren's Escape. What you got? I see a Misty Rainforest over there that's not been cracked. Okay. Did not get it. Which is annoying. But... don't have protection. This does not do much. Alright. So... swing for the fences. And then we'll just play we gotta play it safe. We can't just go, okay, I'll gain a life and push 1 more damage across the plate. No. Like, why would you take that damage? That's what I'm trying to figure out. Do I want Heliod or do I want... No, because if they destroy something and Heliod's not a creature, that doesn't do me any good. We also have... That's the thing. It's like we have Final Showdown, we have Dawn's Truce. Like, I have so many ways to give this thing hexproof or indestructible or whatever. It's like... No. They're at 1. God, I wish I would have... Now it's like I should have just... If I would have pumped it, then I would have lost her. There's, you know, whatever. But cracking that is like whatever. They have an 8/8 with hexproof. Doesn't matter as long as we keep Qala alive. Tap there. It's not targeted. Do I gain hexproof? Target opponent. Dawn's Truce. You can have the card. I want to make sure my stuff stays alive. No, of course. They had a D-Spark. Why am I not surprised? Give me Ajani. Give me Ajani. Give me the one that has a double strike flying thing attached to it. Because I hate this freaking deck. Thank you. I love you. Oh, God, do I hate Tom Bombadil. Like, so much. Go away. God. There is not a fair version of that deck I have ever come up against on Arena. Never. Cynette Jelly Drover. I don't remember what that card does. I'm going to keep this hand because we have Authority of the Consuls and Voice in hand. They have a Ley Line of Anticipation. So what does this thing do? Whenever it enters or dies, you get a jellyfish, and then creatures with flying get +1/+1. Okay, so it's got a built-in Anthem effect for flying creatures. Totally doable. I am going to... Let's test the waters for a counter spell. That's what I'm going to do. Because Voice is better than Fencing Ace. I would rather that get the counter than the alternative. Because if they spend their turn dinking around here, I can drop Voice in between things. Okay, they played Oracle of the Alpha. And Swiftfoot. I'm kind of okay with this. Because now we can do Voice of the Blessed. And depending on what they try to do to us, the Flare can come in handy, even with it being the only creature on the board. Like, if they try to enchant us or do something stupid like that, at least I have a way to get out of it. Alright. So they got their extra stuff in their deck. And they sat back on 5,000 pounds of counter spells. I got you. Alright. So, no attacks, because I'm just basically probably crapping my pants here, thinking they're gonna have something I don't like. So let's just go ahead and try to Fateful Absence the Oracle. Let's see if they have a counter. Try to run them out of the counter magic. Okay. Did not counter that. So probably tells me they're just going to use the Leyline of Anticipation to flash in a creature. Which, hey, I get 2 creatures, so then I gain 2 life, and then the voice gets bigger by 2. I'm kind of okay with this. So next turn, I'm going to try to get Qala on the board, unless I draw something significantly better. Let's see here. No, Nykthos can come down, though. If I do 2 mana for that, do that. Let's do this. Let's see if we can put the reprobation down. Let's see if they actually have a counter. Because they're not going to want me to shut down Cynette, because then it loses all the abilities. Yeah, that's what I thought. Gonna swing. Because even if they come up with some kind of weird thing like flash in a 2/2 or something like that, it's not going to matter, because then the authority will come in tapped and I'll gain a life and it gets bigger and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, that's why they didn't want to do that. But that was kind of stupid. Why would you, if you had that, why would you burn the counterspell on that when you could have just as easily just flickered her and made another, you know, she'd come out and the reprobation would fall off. It's kind of a silly tactic to waste the counter like that, because there could have been something bigger, better that I had in hand to cast. All right, so they're going to use Irenicus's Vile Duplication. So now that stuff gets even bigger. Though my Voice of the Blessed is getting quite large. All right. Hello, Heliod. I like you. Especially since I can, let's see. I don't see mana that's going to screw me here. All right. Swinging. All right. And then end turn. Go ahead, make another copy of your girl so it becomes indestructible too. I'd enjoy that. Now, if they do something that they try to steal my Voice of the Blessed, I will Flare of Fortitude simply to keep them from getting it. Oh, am I so glad I did not... Because I'd have been dead had I not done the Heliod thing. Alright. Drop that. Drop this. Give that lifelink. Swing for 15? Yeah, I don't think you're going to like what's about to happen. Rhys the Redeemed. We're going to have a bunch of tokens to deal with. Oh, go ahead and make your tokens. I'm going to go ahead and keep this simply because we have Authority of the Consuls in our hand. Let's get... come on, Deck. Come on. My mouse... I don't use a wireless mouse. I got it caught on my keyboard edge. Alright, there's Rhys. Let's just go ahead. Let's go ahead and drop Case of the Uneaten Feast. That way we have a life gain trigger there. Kind of hoping for a 1-drop to go with the Clarion Spirit this coming turn, but we'll see. Alright, didn't get the one drop I was wanting. Let's go with Heliod. That way we're getting life triggers. We'll just stick the counters on himself if they start creating creatures and whatnot. Because he'll be up and running here in short order. Alright. Let's see. We need 2. We don't have 2 to make him come alive. So we're just going to go ahead and play Qala. She'll get a trigger there. I'm going to go ahead and stick another counter on her. Just to get her out of range of the fight spell or whatever. They probably have exile removal, but we'll see. Titania's command. All right. Yep. And they're going to make 2 bears. Okay. Trying to think what would be better. Probably Nykthos Paragon, just because, but we don't have any burst life gain. But it is each turn, so we could get more counters going off of that. Alright, we have an 11-11, and if we drop one of my 6 drops, Heliod will be online. Don't have any way to give anything lifelink yet, though. And we're still short mana to drop the Paragon. Well, if I would have dropped Nykthos, we probably would have had it. It's alright. Alright, so let's just go ahead. We'll just fill in the blanks here. I'm swinging with both. And go next to blockers. Alright, so we're gonna go ahead and activate this. We could have done Heliod, but it's fine. I'm just gonna go ahead and make her be the lifelink. We're gonna start putting counters on Clarion Spirit. We'll get it up in power too. So yeah, next turn it's gonna be Nykthos Paragon, and I'm gonna decline the trigger on the Case of the Uneaten Feast, so then I can use the burst of the Nykthos Paragon to go ahead and get Qala up. Unless we manage to pull something. Okay, they're going to blow. I know what they're going to do. They're going to blow up the Authority of the Consuls. Because they know that is totally wrecking their day. I mean, I'm okay with this. It's done its deed. Yeah, I saw that coming from a mile away. The only thing that would make me not drop Nykthos Paragon at this point is probably the Ajani, where I can -3 and give her flight and smack them in the face. Alright, so we're going to drop Nykthos. Gonna drop the Leonin Vanguard, just because it gives me a life gain trigger. And it turns Heliod back into a creature. We'll go ahead and put another one on there. Yeah, let's go ahead and do this. Gives us a couple of things. Let's go with this, just in case they have a fight spell to try to kill it. We're going to need to try to do stuff. Ignoring it for the... Well, no, I can't really ignore it for the Nykthos Paragon because I don't have the ability to pay and get the lifelink on Qala. So we'll go ahead and just power up. And let's put another one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We'll put another one on the Clarion Spirit. And let's send them all. Yeah. Face is the place. I don't really care what Nissa's doing over there. Next. We can sacrifice it. You can cast a card. Creature cards gain, you can cast this card. Well, there's nothing in my graveyard to recast, so I can't use that. But that at least forces them to use the Monastery Mentor as a chump block of sorts. Now, Rhys can do that. They can make a bunch of stuff, which I don't care, because Qala has got 17 counters on her, and that flying token is going to turn into a plus 17 or more this next coming turn. Okay. You got me. You still got a 4/4 flyer. I'm such a jerk. Oh, well. Yeah. Here. Base. Goodbye. Yeah, if Qala is unchecked, there's just no hope. You're just dead. It's like you're going to be taking a bare minimum of, what is this, 44 damage this turn? Because the lowest power is 21. They're salty. So I'll fast forward this part. You won't see me sit here twiddle my thumbs for the next like 2 minutes. So our opponent finally finished salt roping me after 2 minutes. I'll use this as my customary. When this happens, I'm feeling a little salty, so I'm going to say it. Don't be a salty bitch. That's all I got to say. Brawl, Crackling Wit. So I've come up against this deck a few times in practice, and it is either really, really good or it's really, really bad. If they hit the nut draw, they're going to get like multiple copies of Brawl going, and they're just going to storm off multiple times in a turn, and it is very disgusting. Oh, there's a regular Pridemate, so that works out nicely. But yeah, it is a sight to behold when a Brawl Crackling Wit deck just goes absolutely nuts. And I could attest to that actually in paper, because I've actually, in my Bria deck, I have a copy of Brawl that I opened in my box. And it is absolutely absurd how much damage that thing can do. Alright, so if we do that, that frees that mana up. We can swing, go to that. I'm trying to think if it makes sense to get rid of that otter token, or if it makes more sense to save the ossification to use on Brawl, or if I just swords this stupid thing. You know what? That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to swords this otter. If they're desperate enough to burn a counter, or okay, they're just going to opt, and that's fine. They'll gain 1 more life for their troubles. It's like if they want to use something like a swan song or like of that nature to stop it, then, you know, whatever. So we'll gain a life, we'll get a counter on our Pridemate. That was the main thing I wanted. But I didn't want to burn the ossification on it, because that's a good piece of removal for Brawl. Oh, wow, they really did not like that card being on the board. Alright, let's just get Heliod down. We have Lauren's Escape to protect the Pridemate from like a lightning strike or something of that nature. They really did not like that. Full-priced Wizard's Lightning to get rid of that card. Alright.
Together we can shift the current.
So I'm going to use the ossification on this one of the planes. I'm going to go ahead and take out Brawl. Get it out of here. We have a get lost to do it again. Go ahead and swing. See if they block or not. Either way, I don't care. I'm going to use it to give this lifelink so it gets bigger by 2. And then if they're going to be 2 turns away from replaying Brawl, and then Get Lost can just blast him out of his boots as soon as they drop him again. Wow. They just happened to have a good answer right there on the spot, didn't they? All right. Well, so be it. I don't want to use that on that. I don't want to use Get Lost on it either. Let's go ahead and play the Pridemate, see if they have something. If there's a Wash Away or a Strict Serenade in their hand, though, it's going to make me want to cry. Luckily, it didn't seem like they had that, but they had something else because the priority got hung up. Alright. So we have protection this time, so let's go ahead and send Qala in at them. See what they got going on. Nothing. Alright, I'm gonna make this have lifelink. We still have the escape. In case of a lightning bolt, shock, or otherwise. Alright. So we're just gonna do this now. It's either they have a counter spell or they don't at this point, or another burn spell to supersede. Oh god, that can be really, really good. But right now, I don't think it's good enough. Alright, so we got 3 life out of that. We'll just go ahead and stack up 2 more counters on her. Hopefully they don't have another 5 blast in their hand. I wanted to get it above 4, though, because sometimes the Ral deck runs things like Obliterating Bolts and Lava Coils and that kind of stuff. Oh, it's Rhystic Study. Great. Whenever you cast a spell. I'm trying to remember what the bid on that was. Let's go ahead and gear her up. And we'll go ahead and swing. Get a couple more counters on her. I want to sit on the Aganjo because it gets around the restriction on Rhystic Study because it doesn't count as a spell. It's an active... Actually, it's an activated ability. Plus, it still leaves us Get Lost if we absolutely need it. So please, swing your 4-2 at me. I'd like to blow it up. Alright, there's Ral. Get Lost is for him.
Tail? Oh, Croc, I'm an otter. I hope you've got bottled lightning to share.
Do. Goodbye. No Rhystic Study for you. Now's the dumb question. Do I just Get Lost the otter and smash them in the teeth? Like, I'm trying to think of, like, what the best method of just getting them out of here is. Or do I play 2 things and get 2 attackers on the board? Let them draw their cards, but then I get 2 things and then I have Heliod up online. You know what? Screw it. Let's do it. Oh, I auto-paid. Whoopsies. Oh well. Face. That was my fault. Otherwise, I would have dropped Carrot Cake and had Heliod up and running, but I just misclicked. That's what I get for talking it all out and then screwing it up. Alright, that's the bad part about Ral, is he can just create blockers for days. But on the uptick, let's see, that's... Never mind. I lost one of my white sources. I was like, oh, I have a couple ways to make mana with Nykthos now, and it's like, nope. They're probably going to bring back Flame of Anor, is my guess. Out of all the stuff they've expended. Oh, hey, look. It's like I'm a genius or something. Alright, so 7/7 if I get lost. Or I could do Essence Channeler and do my original plan, which is what I was going to do. Let them have their cards. Resolve all. Decline the stupid thing. Carrot cake. Don't have to worry about it because I don't have the mana anyways. So have your 2 cards. But then I have Heliod online like I should have had last turn. Leave that mana up because I actually need the mana. Alright. They did. I was about to say, 9 damage over there. Alright, so now's the question. Did they get a River's Rebuke or a Cyclonic Rift to stop me from punching them in the face? Because if they did, I screwed up. And I should have probably used Get Lost on Brawl or the Rhystic Study by this point. Not quite sure. They're slow rolling me right now, though. Come on. I could use Heliod's Intervention to get rid of the Rhystic Study, the Storm Chaser's Talent, and the Arcane Signet, too. So I do have options. As foretold, so they get a free 0 drop because they have to have a time counter. Once per you made it 0 for the cast with mana value X or less. So they got to get to their upkeeps before that actually matters. Okay, so they're gonna kill 2 creatures, which is fine. Doesn't do anything to stop me from killing them with Qala. Yeah, this is where I get to go get lost. Literally. I'm going to pay for it. I love how Arena's like, I'm going to auto pay and use the thing that generates a bunch of mana. That's real brilliant. Okay, so they didn't get to pop off because they weren't drawing a bunch of good stuff, and I was just drawing into like more and more things to just power up Heliod and Qala. So that worked out good for us. Pantlaza Sun Favored. So this is going to be Dinosaur Discovery. This hand is not that great, really. Grand Abolisher's nice just to keep them from killing stuff on my turn and stopping me from doing things, but then there's not a lot in that. I don't know. Because I could do like early stuff like, Case of the Uneaten Feast into the Grand Abolisher. We'll play the Eidolon into the Abolisher. Not sure. I don't like that. I don't like that hand. Okay, this is better. We actually get options to fly over the dinosaurs, or we have the Ocelot Pride to start duplicating some of our token creations. And we got Clarion, which actually works well with the Pride. Alright, so let's get... I'm going to go ahead and do the Ocelot Pride. I'm taking a real risk here, though, of getting it either burned or exiled, but we'll see what happens. Alright, so Cavern of Souls on Warrior. Let's go ahead and get Heliod down, because it's actually a bigger deal, because then we can start getting the Pride up in power. Let's see. If we get a land, Exemplar is really good. Gonjo. I could use that to destroy the Curator as it tries to block, but then we don't gain the life anyways. I think I'd rather use it as a land. And then... if we do Clarion's... yeah, I like this idea. Let's do Clarion Spirit. We'll revitalize to gain the life pre-combat. put the counter on the Ocelot Pride. I could have done that in combat and then forced a unfavorable blocking situation, but it's fine. Let's go ahead and just jack that up. And then we get a bunch of tokens. And now we have the city's blessing. Let's see. That's where we get all of our duplicated tokens. I don't use Ocelot Pride that much, so I had to actually think about what it did for us. Kinjali, what is the heck are they getting here? They might not have actually blocked with that anyways, because they want that extra discover trick off of it. Okay, I've actually not seen that card before. That's really freaking good in a Pantlaza deck. So, trying to think how I want to go about this. That's whatever. At this point, that's a big whatever. Drop that. If we drop the Exemplar, Heliod comes online. You could get a life out of the Ocelot Pride. But if we use ossification to get rid of... Because if this is whenever it enters, it discovers X. Dang it. This really messes with me. Alright, let's just use ossification. Let's get... Is it Gwenna I want to take out? Or is it... Actually, it's this thing. It needs to go. Alright, so send those guys in. So we want the life gain triggers. Alright, so let's go ahead and give one of these lifelink. We don't have any reason not to. That gives us an additional source of lifelink for these things to work with. We'll just go ahead and start spreading the counters around now. I wanted the Exemplar of Light, but I had better options and to slow them down because we don't want them double discovering off of stuff. So this Curator of Sun's creation had to go. Wow. Okay. Well, a couple of my cats are going to get thrown under the bus, so to speak, here. Because we really don't want to be taking 12 damage off of those. Okay. Excuse me. Alright, our Ocelot Pride just got punked. So we're just gonna have to build up our Air Force here and hopefully we can fly over and whack them in the face before this gets too much further. Alright, we definitely have to stick a couple of cat tokens in front of the dinosaurs because we're just going to get punched for a lot. So, block here, block here. You control attack, gain 1 life for each attack creature. I'm just trying to think of what the best way to handle this is. The mana is really screwy right now. If we gain life, I may not be dead. If I don't gain life, I may be absolutely dead. Alright. So we're going to send the 2 flyers again. They have to... Let's see if they mess up their clicking, because I've had this happen before on Arena where people screw up and accidentally grant the double strike. So you gotta be careful what you're clicking with. It's one of the only things that sucks about using Duelist Heritage in the Arena client, because people don't realize it in paper that it's for everybody, because they just like, well, I ain't gonna give your thing double strike, who cares? But in digital, you have to track it. Resolve. Alright. So we didn't do the life gain, which is fine. Let's do... I'm going to put down an extra flyer here, which then gives me Heliod online as a blocker. So I can block things like the Pugnacious Hammer Skull, or even just try to absorb a little bit of extra damage off of like Atali and them. Because if I throw something in front of one of them, or they kill something and then he falls off, I lose a blocker. So, because a double striking 12-12 is not a lot of fun. Okay. Of course, I'm just thinking to myself, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, they were short mana. They couldn't do Atali flipped over. Because if Atali flips and they give it double strike, you're just dead. Because the trample and then it comes over and poisons you to death. Like, I'd have to stick absolutely everything in front of Atali to not die to the poison trigger. All right, we got Mirror March. Whoa. Excuse me? Oh, it doesn't... Wow. I never realized it. It's not a non-token dinosaur. It's just whenever a dinosaur enters. So it's going to look at every single one of those copies and tries to do that. That's nuts. Oh, but he only does it once each turn. That's so that there's a good reason why they put those limiters on there. All right, so 12-12. I'm sure that's the one that's getting the double strike. So Primal Conqueror is going to trigger exile something. They keep getting lands. All right, we need to be able to finish this next turn, or we're just going to die. All right. So they did give the 12-12 double strike, so we're going to stick Cats in front of the non-double strikers, and we'll stick Heliod in front of the 12-12 just to absorb a little bit of the damage, because we don't want to lose Clarion Spirit or Exemplar, because otherwise we lose Heliod as a blocker or an attacker next turn. So that helped mitigate the damage a fair bit. Okay. Search for a legendary creature card. So probably Zakama. It's either Zakama or the other one, Gishath. Zakama. Called it right on the first one. All right, so we have God's Willing. I'm just like... We slam the dragon, we gain the life, we swing wide, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm just trying to think of like what's the best option here. Is it swing with these, or do I, because if I pro green, then Atali can still block, and so can Kajali's Collar. So the God's Willing I don't think is like a great play right now. I think the Ancestor Dragon is the play, and I just have to hope my flyers carry me. Because it's only going to look at it as one source of life gain. So... they're at 1. Well, we have mana as a God's Willing... protection, so if they try to nuke something out of the way with Zakama or oh shit. Well, that's the ball game right there, because all they got to do is drop that she swings, they get 2 combats with a double striking nightmare mess over there, and we're just dead. I don't think there's any way to come out of this. Yeah, we're screwed. I'm not even gonna sit through this. Not gonna happen. We might have lived through this with single combat, but a double combat, nope. So I've had a lot of fun with this deck. There's times when you just kind of stall out and you don't get anything if you don't have enough removal. The deck probably needs more removal. It's just a sad fact of the way Brawl operates in order to punch through sometimes, or we need more ways of granting flying to our big stuff. But when this thing pops off, it really pops off, and I love it for that fact. I love building up a huge Qala and then just swinging in with all my might with just a bunch of beefed up creatures. So if you like gaining life, if you like building up like Ajani's Pridemate style creatures and stuff, this deck is perfect for you, and I encourage you to go ahead and give it a try. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. What would you add to this deck? What would you take away from this deck? What would you do? Would you change anything about it? I want to hear all of it down below. While you're down there, please like, share, comment, subscribe. All those things help the channel grow. And as always, thank you for watching. Have a great day, and I will see you in the next video.